Coming to you live from the Kresge Center on the campus of Albion College. I'm Jim Funderburg along with Jim Bellamy. And tonight, Jim, I'll tell you what, a game that I think you and I both circled when we got our schedule as to what was going to be on the Britain Sports Network this year. And we said this game between the Lady Brits and the Flying Dutch from Hope is going to be a good one. And it sure looks like maybe it's going to live up to its expectations.
Boy, oh boy, Jim, you said it. And you look at the first time these two teams played earlier this year, certainly don't anticipate another game like that, a 2-point nail-biter last-second victory for Hope on their home floor, and not the kind of game we're accustomed to seeing, a 2-point victory, like I said, Jim, on a last-second layup the last time. In fact, if you go look at the game recap, Hope even provides a Twitter video of that shot from the bench perspective. Hope takes the ball out with a couple seconds left right in front of their bench, throws an entry pass, kind of an alley-oop, caught, turnaround, and a layup off the glass as time expires. And it's, a very low-scoring affair the last time these two teams played. And I'd have to think that we're not the only ones who circled this game on the calendar. I think the moment after that last one concluded, I'd have to think Coach Carden and the Britons women's basketball team also circled this game, thinking that, yeah, we were both undefeated going in, and they gave the Brits their first loss on the season. But boy, both of those teams left a lot of points on the table. And I think I just have to believe you're going to see more offense tonight, but the consistency is going to be that it should be a fantastic ball game.
I would agree with you tonight. This should be a whole lot of fun, and I'm just kind of working this thing through the back of my brain. You've got a couple of teams that come in here and they average basically in the middle 70s on any given night. The Brits come in averaging 76. Hope comes in averaging 75. And to think that neither team could get out of the 40s that night, a defensive struggle, and a night that if you read the recaps out of both coaching staffs, it was just one of those ugly nights. Neither team could get anything going all that well. Hope took charge in the first half, basically, and won the first half. And the Brits pretty much won the second half, except for that last second bucket that sent them home with a loss. And I would agree with you, Jim. This Hope team comes in here tonight, though. This is a young team. They bring back 16 players from last year's squad. They bring back 4 starters from last year's squad. And it's also a team that last year finished second in this conference to Trine. I think they have, in their mind right now, a little redemption going from last year, as well as they have a perfect season going on into this ball game tonight, and they'd hope, I think, to keep it going one more time as you take a look at that women's basketball standings in the MIAA.
Yeah, Jim, you look at Hope, and not only are they 18-0 overall and 9-0 in the conference, but they are also in the coaches' poll the number 3 ranked team in the country. And so it is a privilege to bring you this basketball game tonight on the Britain Sports Network. And you see the D3Hoops.com Women's 25 rankings, and that is rankings as of Sunday, this past Sunday. So you see Hope, one of 3 18-0 teams atop the nation, and they got some first place votes, more than the number 2 team, Baudouin, did. So, yeah, a really good ball club, and they're coached by, I would argue, certainly one of the best in the conference, if not one of the best in the country. But you look at the rest of the MIAA standings, Trine only a game back at 8-1. They're getting the ones that matter the most, even though they have more losses than the Britons do. They've lost 4. The Britons have only lost 3. Albion sits 2 games behind at 7-2. Calvin is at 5-4. St. Mary's, who we just saw the other night, is at 4-5. And then the rest of the MIAA standings, Alma, Kalamazoo, Adrian, and Olivet to round it out. So it's a kind of a top-heavy conference, especially those top 3 teams. And as fate would have it, we're going to see those 2 teams coming to the Kresge to wrap up our regular season broadcast schedule on the Britain Sports Network. And it couldn't be happier to be here on a Wednesday night calling what should be a fantastic ball game between 2 great teams.
Next Wednesday night, we get the repeat of this thing, only on the men's version of this whole ball game. So that should be a whole lot of fun next Wednesday night here at the Kresge Center. As you take a look at that schedule for Wednesday, January 29th tonight, you have Hope here at Albion, and then Calvin at Trine. Olivet at Alma and Adrian at St. Mary's. And, the Brits took care of St. Mary's on Saturday afternoon. We were here for that one. But I'll tell you, this ball game tonight should be one that you can kind of look at and maybe put down, hopefully, maybe in our memory banks as one of the best we've ever done. The thing that stands out about this Hope team to me, Jim, is that really nobody on this team is that superstar player here coming into this thing tonight. When you take a look at the best players in the game in the MIAA, you take a look at Rain Hinton. She's still sitting on top of not only the points per game at 17, but field goal percentage at 55%. Evelyn Wishmeyer still at 43% from behind the arc, #1 3-point shooter in women's basketball in the MIAA. You've got to go down a couple of notches to be able to get to somebody who comes in here from Hope. First of all, you take a look at Kennedy Schoonfeld, who is the #4 3-point shooter in the conference at 40% here on the year, and then Olivia Voskul, who is the 4th best shooter in the conference at 49%. But past that, this is just a team that is very well balanced. This is a team that can run player after player after player off the bench, and every player that comes in will get you 4, 5, 6 points, a couple rebounds, an assist or two, and go sit on the bench and wait for their name to be called again.
And they will. Not only can they, but they have, because of their margin of victory. They're outscoring opponents on an average by about 30, 35 a night. And so they've been able in second halves of ball games to regularly roll out, maybe go 8, 10, 12, 14 deep. And that's a blessing for Coach Morehouse. And it certainly bears, when you review the stats, to your point, Jim, about only one player in double figures in terms of points per game, and that's astounding.
Yes, it really is.
How can a team be 18-0, #3 in the country, and only have one player average double figures? Well, it's depth and it's consistency across the board. And for a defense, that has to frustrate you to no end, because typically when you game plan for a team, you look at one key player, maybe two key players. If it's a center, then you're probably shading a double team coverage down in the paint. Or if it's a guard, maybe you're running a 2-3 zone and you have one of those third players kicking out and kind of helping double team on the ball handler. The problem is, because you have such a deep Hope team and because they substitute as much as they do, there isn't that one player you can really focus on and say, if we take this person out of the game, then they can't beat us. Everybody on Hope is capable of doing that. And, they'll have their moments, and they do throughout the season. So that's the part that, again, going back to the last time these two teams played, 45-43 was your final. They only had, I think, 5 points in the quarter before that last basket. They only scored 7 in the fourth. They only scored 16 points in the second half. Yeah. So it just makes you wonder. And, reading the Albion College recap of the game, one of the first I think the first sentence is, neither team wore their throwback uniforms. Yeah. But it played like a throwback kind of basketball game with the first half that Hope had, Britton's only scored single figures first and second quarter. Second half, Hope only scored single figures in the third and fourth quarter. So it's such a deep team for Hope that you can't really game plan to take one player out. You just have to play good team defense. You have to communicate. And really on the offensive end, you have to execute. And you and I talked a lot on the way up here, Jim, that I think one of the key strengths of tonight's game is really going to be the outside shooting for the Britons.
It could be the difference in the ball game, no doubt, Jim. When you take a look at these two teams, Hope comes in here averaging 44% from the floor. Albion comes in averaging 45% from the floor. In the game that you were talking about, the Brits and Hope both shot right around 30% that night from the floor. So it was a defensive battle. It was a struggle. It was a situation where you look at the numbers and they were just so close. Both teams had 35 rebounds that night. Both teams had 10 assists that night. Both teams were right around 20 turnovers that evening. It was just an interesting ball game. I don't expect to see the same kind of contest here tonight, but you never can tell. You really never can tell what's going to happen. How much pressure is going to be exerted with both these teams tonight. For Hope, undefeated. They really have a game maybe to give, if you want to look at it that way. For the Lady Brits tonight coming in for Coach Carden, they really can't give up any more losses here in this conference if they hope to maybe be able to host the tournament at the end of the year.
Yeah, because you've already lost on the road at Trine, and of course you lost at Hope. So tiebreaker-wise, at best you're going to go 500 against the other two top-tier teams in this conference. But really, you're going to need some other things to bounce your way. I totally understand and agree with your point about Hope looking at it as maybe you have a game to give, but we also look at the career record of Coach Brian Morehouse, and we see he's not one of those coaches who tends to give too many games. In fact, Saturday, Coach Morehouse won his 600th contest, and he did it the fastest of any men's or women's coach in NCAA history. He only needed 690 games to get to the 600 win mark. So he reached that milestone Saturday at Olivet. And again, that is the fastest to 600 for any men's or women's coach in NCAA history. So if you want yet another reason to tune in tonight to the Britain Sports Network, you're getting history, you're getting a great ball game, the number 3 team in the country, and you're getting a shot at redemption for Coach Carden and the women Britain's basketball squad.
It has been a lot of runaway games for Coach Moorhead and his Flying Dutch. That Olivet game the other day, 76-27. Newman had 15 points and 8 rebounds. Schoonfeld with 10. Before that, they beat Alma 71-33. And the game before that, St. Mary's 76-41. Notice a similarity there. They're scoring in the 70s, and they're holding their opponents down around 40.
Yeah, and it's again, I think it goes back to what you talked about a few minutes ago with the depth of the team. Coach Morehouse not only has his starting 5, but I think they're going to go at least 8-10 deep tonight. And I think they do that pretty much every night. And I don't even know that the score is necessarily going to dictate how deep he goes. These young ladies, they're prepared. Yes. They're well coached, they're prepared. They're not afraid to go 10, 12 deep, even in a game like this with so much riding on it. And I think games against Trine, at Trine, and up in Holland are going to be the same way, that they're going to go the way they're going to go. They're going to go deep, they're going to attack, and they're going to play suffocating defense. And, you know, again, it's you can't argue with the results. 18-0, perfect to top the conference, number 3 team in the country. But all those superlatives aside, looking at it through the lens of Coach Carden and the Britons, you had one on their home floor. You played a great second half. If you hadn't had such a sluggish first half, you know, if they'd put, say, 14 on the board in that first or second quarter compared to 7, that last second shot wouldn't have meant anything.
Entirely.
So, again, it's just you look at the missed opportunity where, yeah, you know, 18-0, number 3, we've said it a few times, but this is a team that the Britons can match with, they can compete with, and it's going to be such a good game tonight. Can't wait.
When you take a look at the numbers from last game, Jim, and you take a look at the number of players that Coach Morehouse played for Hope last time, they played 11 different players that night. The tops on the night for minutes played, Olivia Voskul had 28. Kennedy Schoonfeld had 34. 36 for Sydney Mueller. 20 for Ashley Thomas. 24 for Lauren Newman. And then you go into the bench and you find Jess Moorman with 17. Casey DeSmit with 18. Mallory Gerber with 12. But again, total players, 11 different Flying Dutch ladies saw the floor there at the DeVos Center during that basketball game.
Dead even on rebounds, Jim, in that game, 35 apiece, but the number of turnovers is the thing that jumps out to me the most. 23 turnovers for the Brits, 20 turnovers for Hope. So you have to credit both teams' defenses. Yeah, you can look at the negative and say they got to take better care of the ball, but you also have to credit both teams' defenses that day. I think they're forcing those turnovers. I don't think those are unforced errors. For the game to be played in the middle 40s for both of these two basketball teams, you know there was some defense played that afternoon. There's no doubt about it. Let's flip the script real quick. The home team tonight, the Albion Britons, come in tonight
know that having a pretty doggone good year themselves at 15-3, 7-2 in the MIAA, 7-0 at home, and winning 2 in a row here. Last time we saw them was against St. Mary's on Saturday. They defeated St. Mary's 89-41 as Hinton and Wishmeyer both went for 20 that afternoon. Before that, they defeated Calvin at Calvin 77-69, and they lost to Trine 77-69. They lost at Trine the day before, or the game before. So, 2 in a row. Calvin a tough team, Trine a tough team at Trine, but we've got Trine coming to town here in about a week or so as well, and as we hit February now. But this is going to be a ball game tonight, Jim, that if Evelyn Wishmeyer can continue to shoot from behind the arc, open things up just a little bit more, Rain Hinton is going to have to play amongst the trees tonight because this is a big basketball team. 2 young ladies that are going to start on this team tonight that are above 6 foot tall, and they've got a couple 6-footers on the bench as well.
Yeah, they do, and you look at what St. Mary's did early in that game that kind of took Rain Hinton out of her flow. And she had a slow start, and she started getting things going, repositioned where she set up on the offensive end, forced the defenders to kind of step out maybe a little farther, anticipate something possibly like that going on tonight, where if Hope's going to throw a couple of 6-footers out, you'd have to think if Rain wants to post up, that Hope would be more than happy to have Rain Hinton post up because they can just throw a double team, 2 6-foot-plus players with their hands in the air, and you virtually have no shot lane at that point. But again, it goes back to if Hinton gets double teamed and gets attention in the paint, not only does she change where she sets up on the offensive side because she can hit those 8-10 footers all day long. That'll stretch the defense, but if they collapse inside, you and I know that always opens up the possibility of outside shots. And if you're doubling one, you can't cover everybody. So if Wishmeyer, Burness, players like that can get open outside and Rain gets the attention inside, kick it back out. You have to make them pay every time. You have to get good possessions. Can't come up empty with shot clock violations. You have to play solid defense. This game is going to stretch you. There are going to be a lot of tired young ladies on the floor at the end of this night. But again, I think you look at redemption and leaving one on the table last time at Holland, and you think maybe tonight's the night. Tonight we put that crooked number up for Hope, and get one step closer back to the top of the MIAA.
And send the Lady Flying Dutch back home to Holland with that first loss of the season. That is exactly what Coach Carden is looking for tonight. In fact, we'll have a Coach Carden with us at halftime tonight, Jim, too. But that happens to be the baseball coach. And then we'll talk to Doreen after this ball game. Win, lose, tie or draw, either way. And we're just about ready to send this thing down to the floor for our national anthem and our lineups. And don't forget tonight, you can let us know what we're doing, where you're at, all those things at webcast at albion.edu. There you go, webcast at albion.edu. Everything's ready to go. We're down to double zeros on our scoreboard right now. Let's sound it down to the PA announcer and get ready for tonight's basketball game. And there you have it, the starting five for the two teams. Olivia Voskul, Casey DeSmit, Kennedy Schoenfeld, Lauren Newman, and Ashley Thomas there for the Lady Flying Dutch. Jimmy, they go 6'3" in Voskul, 5'6" in DeSmit, 5'10" for Schoenfeld, 5'7" for Newman, and 6'2" for Ashley Thomas. On the other side of the ledger, it's Elena Welker, Amanda Larson, Evelyn Wishmeyer, Rain Hinton, and Emily Burness. 5'11", 6 foot, 5'11", 5'11", 5'8". There's some tall young ladies on this basketball floor tonight, Jim, and you can tell when you're getting older and you're starting to shrink like I am right now when you walk out onto the floor before the game and you're looking up to every one of the young ladies that are out there at this point in time. At one point in time, I was a tall guy, but hanging around the trees that are wearing Hope and Albion jerseys tonight makes me feel a little bit shorter.
Well, and Jim, one of the things you and I talked about when we first started looking at Hope and this matchup a couple weeks ago is when you have a tall team, you ask, can they run? And so neither player could pick up that ball right away, but the Brits do get the tip. No control, going left to right on your video screen.
Great crowd here tonight, and they're going right towards the student section right now as Wish kicks it to Larson on the left side. Larson down to a couple of knees there, but keeps her dribble to Welker. Back out to Larson, tipped out of bounds by Ashley Thomas. It'll stay Britain's ball with 8 to shoot.
And you see what they did with Rain Hinton early on that tip. They kept her up by the three-point line. The defense, though, doesn't go with her. So they're going to stay pretty dedicated. They know who the power players are.
Welker drives, first shot of the evening, will not go in. And there to pull it down is Ashley Thomas.
Good opportunity, good look. You'll knock more of those down than you won't. So just keep at that short game right there.
Well, you know, Welker, I think, trying to get some of the jitters out as well, as you've got that very tall interior lineup there for the Flying Dutch, and they throw it away. An unforced turnover as the toss was coming out to Ashley Thomas from Olivia Voskul, and it catches nothing except the bench for Albion as they pick it up off the bounce. It'll be Britt's ball again.
I think Hope knows how much Albion wants this game tonight, too. So I think both these teams are going to start tight. It's going to take that first big shot getting knocked down, I think, to relax things a little bit.
Wish kicks it into the middle to Larson, and Larson throws it away. On the run, down the floor, Newman. Larson gets back for defense. Nice job to eliminate the first shot, but Newman gets a rebound, puts it back in. It's 2-0 Hope.
So good stick-to-itiveness right there. Got the steal, layup, rebound, put up. Good start for Hope, and a turnover going back the other way.
All right, time to get the cobwebs loosened up. This is kind of the way the game started the last time at Hope.
It's the jitters. I mean, that's all it is. Both these teams know how important. I mean, the game was important back then, two undefeated teams. Now the stakes are even higher, if that's possible.
DeSmit brought it into the front court. Looked like maybe she almost lost the handle on that basketball, but Hope remains with the ball. DeSmit from the corner for three, and just like that, it's 5-0.
Leave her open. Pay the price.
DeSmit is a 24% shooter from behind the arc, but that one cut nothing but net here at the Kresge Center.
That's a warm-up.
Wishmeyer inside to Larson for two.
Had to have it.
Amanda Larson with a nice, cool, calm, collected lay-in to cut that lead down to 3.
Yep, had to have it.
DeSmit comes out and gets that basketball. She's got Welker on her. Back out front, the jump shot for Voskul, no good. You'll let her have that all day long.
Yes, you will.
Welker said, where'd that ball go? After Thomas tipped it around, she was able to find it. Britain's had the basketball back with a chance to tie or at least cut the lead.
I think a three here might not be a bad idea if you get an open look.
Switching at defense here by the Lady Flying Dutch causes Wishmeyer to throw that one out of bounds, and
right
something
knee,
happened.
Jim. I don't know if she bumped knees, but maybe inner thigh. She got hit.
Something didn't work real well, and Evelyn's having a hard time getting down the other end of the floor right now, but she'll stay in the game for a minute. Coming to the bench is Rebecca Ross, so it looks like she'll check in for Wishmeyer maybe here in a minute.
I'd almost commit a foul right here.
Ball goes to Thomas, spins. Boy, that looked like she might have taken an extra step, but she'll get the foul instead.
Amanda Larson with the foul. Wishmeyer will definitely sub out. She is not 100% right now. She's more upset than anything. So if I were to guess, Jim, an errant knee.
Something happened down there on the other end that she is not happy about. Hopefully it's not something to keep her out of the basketball game for any length of time, as Ashley Thomas misses the first shot. That is the one weakness maybe on this team. They've got a couple of people that start, like Thomas, that only hits 38% of her free throws, Jim.
Big time weakness. You look at the percentages of everything else on that team. Oh, my goodness.
And Amanda Larson hits the floor really hard, and she gets up with a bad elbow, but Amanda's on her way to the front court.
You're not going to keep her out right now. She's a tough young lady. That right elbow is going to be sore, and she probably shouldn't touch the ball much on this possession.
As she has
she'll probably shoot, yeah.
Tries to set the screen for Welker. There's the trap in the corner. Cross court, three-point shot on its way.
Oh, yeah!
Straight home. Rebecca Ross from Gaylord, Michigan ties this one up at 5.
What we talk about with Coach after the last time we saw these teams play, how much Ross impressed us, and now the moment just does not seem too big for her. That's a big shot right there to tie it.
Bosco gets it to DeWitt.
Nice cut.
Bounce pass there on the low block and an easy lay-in for Lauren Newman.
Fundamentals. You let the atmosphere get to you a little bit and you forget to pay attention to the fundamentals, and that back cut, that'll get you if you're not fully focused.
You know, that is the one thing about this Hope team. They're well coached, they're well disciplined. They've been in these big games before. You see the steal, the run out to the other end. Britt's on the move, but they don't get there in time, and the lay-in for Newman makes it now a 9-5 game.
Saw the pass before it happened. Good heads-up defense right there, and a good scoop and score. Again, very balanced, very good team.
Double team on Hinton, forces her to put up a bad shot. Welker almost takes the basketball away.
Foul.
And DeWitt called for a little bit of an elbow.
Threw that right arm out trying to dribble, created a little too much space. And 3 substitutions coming in for Hope. Mormon, Begley, and also Courtney Barnes check in. And you're going to hear us say it a lot, substitutions. They're a deep team, and they are this is an all-the-marbles kind of game, and they're not afraid to go 8, 10, 12 deep.
Britons keep the same 5 on the floor without Evelyn Wishmeyer. As Wish working on the sideline right now, and hopefully she'll be in soon.
Yeah, they telegraphed that one, Jim.
Taken away by Mormon.
They ran basically a two-person clear out for Rain, and the defender made a nice play stepping in front and getting the steal.
9-5 Hope. Britain's going to look to try to get this basketball back and cut into that lead a little bit. One thing you don't want to do, I think, tonight, Jim, is get too far down. Although they were down by double digits when they were at Holland. And, boy, I'll tell you, we have had a lot of bodies on the floor so far tonight.
Yep. Good no call by the official there, though.
Larson needs to come and help.
Got a foul.
Instead, we get a foul that would go against, I believe, Jess Mormon.
I think they get Lauren Newman, actually, 23.
There you go. Off the bench for the Britons comes Tiffany Burgess. To the sideline goes Lauren Newman.
A little too up close and personal as Erica Tolbert also checks in for Hope.
That is
another sub. Kayla Russell. Might as well just read the entire roster, because within a few minutes they're probably all going to be out there.
Russell, the senior from Clarkston, Michigan, that checks in. Britons have pretty much stayed with their starting 5. We're midway through quarter number 1. And what looks like it's going to be maybe another one of those low-scoring nights here at the Kresge Center. And you can see why. Great defense by Hope.
Yeah.
Whistle again.
Another foul against Hope. This one will go against Begley.
So Claire Begley from Ada, Michigan, the 5'11 freshman, gets her first. As a team now, that is 3 on the Flying Dutch.
Another foul on Hope.
Underneath. And again on number 4. So Begley comes in and gets 2 in a row. And down talking to the official is Brian Morehouse.
Another substitution also.
Meg Morehouse. I think she's related to somebody. Yeah.
Get out there and don't foul.
Hinton with the bucket, but they say she took an extra step.
Yep.
So instead of this being a 9-7 game, it stays at 9-5, and the Flying Dutch have the basketball back.
And it could have been a 9-7 game with an and 1 and 5 team fouls against the Flying Dutch. It was that close. because they are draping them on defense.
Tolbert
all
brings
over
it
them.
into the front court.
Was it? Ooh, careful with that swinging arm.
Little bump there on Rebecca Ross will get her first foul of the night.
But Jim, I think now you're seeing the method behind the action. I'm not going to call it madness. I'm going to call it action of substituting as much as Coach Morehouse does. They play a very physical style of defense. You have to have 100% in the gas tank to be able to do that as you get a walk going the other way.
Morehouse with the travel, and both these teams really having a night. You know what? These are two teams that by now, in most games in the MIAA, they're up by half a dozen or more, and they're starting to see how they can put a little distance between one another. Yeah. And this one,
they barely scored half a dozen.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now I can see why the last game was the way it was.
Only 4 shots so far tonight for the Britons, 7 shots so far for Hope. Down the lane, but leaving it a little bit short. And Tolbert comes up with a bucket. To Morehouse, who'll bring it back out front.
Got to kick it back out. Defense fast on both sides.
Back into the corner again to Morehouse.
And it's a big-time game, Jim.
Yeah, it really is, and it's going to be a big-time game all night long. The lay-in won't go, but the rebound put back up, it won't go either. We've got a jump ball situation here, and the arrow's pointing towards the Flying Dutch.
Courtney Barnes goes up with Rain Hinton for that rebound. Both players get the hands on the ball, and Barnes takes a tumble to the floor.
Inbounds under the bucket with 20 to shoot. Ball comes into Russell. She's got Ross on her. Ball gets tipped away.
Got a foul, yep.
Britain's ball. Russell, though, in her efforts to get that basketball from Tiffany Burgess, runs through Burgess, and the foul will give the ball back to the Britons.
Trying to make up for it. Good job with the poke, but got that leg in there. Incidental contact, but once you knock a player to the floor like that, the officials, if they only see 75% of what just happened, you have to call that.
Voskul and Thomas both back on the floor for Coach Morehouse as the Britons now in the penalty situation, and Tiffany Burgess misses the first one.
And we have a lot of quarter left to play, and those 5 fouls mean 2 shots the rest of this quarter for the Brits.
Got to make them here this evening if you're going to stay close. Everything needs to go in, and just like that, we miss them both. Rain Hinton fights for the basketball, a jump ball situation. This time, it stays with the home team.
So that's just as good. I mean, you'd like to knock the 2 free throws down, but now you have to convert on this one. You can't have this many opportunities with good looks and come away empty. You have to score here.
Rain Hinton has been quiet so far tonight. No points for Rain this evening. Only 5 for the Britons here early on as Jess Mormon checks back into the basketball game. Evelyn Wishmeyer about ready to check in for the Lady Britons. That's got to make everybody in purple and gold very happy here tonight.
No clean looks on the inside. The only good looks the Britons are going to get right now are the outside shots.
Welker and Burgess not really on the same page. Ball goes out of bounds. Burgess will sit, and Wishmeyer back into the basketball game.
You get full court pressure defense. Just watch out for the 2 like Thomas down there, 25 in the corner. If she makes a break for the basket, if you get an open look.
DeSmit checks back into the ball game, and Rebecca Ross has her. Ball into the front court there to Thomas, who give it up. Back over to Morehouse. Britain's playing some pretty good defense. Back out front to Voskul. She'll dribble into the lane and look to distribute it somewhere. To Morehouse with 9 to shoot. The show and go through the double team.
Oh no, she lost the handle on that one.
And the foul's going to go against the Britons, and that'll go against J.C. King, who came in that last time out.
Webcast at albion.edu. Let us know where you're watching. This game's been stuck at Dolly Parton's favorite score, 9-5 for quite a while. 2:41 to play here in quarter number 1.
You see the foul there on the replay tonight, and it looks like maybe a tripping call is what they were looking at.
Yeah, I was looking at the ball, so good eyes there.
Morehouse with the free throw, and she misses that one. The freshman out of Zeeland, who happens to be related to the guy who just got his 600th win, shoots 91% from that charity stripe.
It's just
been a rugged first quarter for both teams.
Yeah, missed them both.
And the rebound comes off to Thomas. Kicks out front for 3, a little too hard. And the ball rebounded by the Brits, who give it up to Voskul.
They're always there.
Yeah, they
there
are.
There are no clean passing lanes.
They're really everywhere. Morehouse back over to Thomas. Jump shot will be short. Rebound 5-4, but Morehouse goes over the top, and I believe that's 2 now on Miss Morehouse, isn't it?
I believe it is, and Jim, that's 16 fouls against Hope so far.
Britton's now will bring Larson back into the basketball game.
But the Brits have yet to make a free throw.
Rebecca Ross will take a seat. It has been a while since the Britons have made a point. We'll have to go back and take a look at that right now.
Both teams. It's been 9-5 for at least a good 2.5 minutes.
9-5 at the 5:56 mark. How's that?
3.5 minutes and missed the first one.
Britons made their last bucket at the 6:41 mark, and they've now missed 3 free throws in a row. That's not normal either. King misses both. They're 0 for 4 now from the charity line tonight on their home floor.
I think we need to switch the ball.
Yeah. Something's wrong with that basketball tonight. It must be a little bit of egg-shaped or something. Neither team really having much luck.
Wishmeyer back in.
3-point jumpers off the front of the iron, but it comes out long, and it goes to Lauren Newman. Reset the shot clock at 20. Kick to Voskul, and she'll get it to stay, and she'll get the harm. Boy, I don't know how that one stayed in, but she did a wonderful job there, Olivia, putting that ball up, catching that front iron, and just having the right motion on that basketball to keep it in the iron.
Just a slight crease, and again, throwing it off the backboard soft, so you give that rim an opportunity to kind of allow that one to fall. And again, one of the things we've always marveled at with this Kresge Gymnasium is those are very forgiving rims.
Emily Burness back into the basketball game as Voskul knocks down the free throw to take care of that 3-point play. It's 11-5 now as the Britons again. Been a long time without a bucket, almost 5 minutes right now. Inside to Larson, and Amanda has her second basket of the night.
Every basket so big because you don't get a lot of good looks against this Flying Dutch squad.
Minute and a half to play. You can see why this team will run a lot of teams out. The Brits hanging in here, but they're going to have to figure out a way to score some points as Voskul leaves the first one short, gets her own rebound, and sticks it right back into the square.
And that's the height. You can't body her up underneath that long arm. She'll reach and she'll get that rebound, and you certainly can't give her good looks like that.
3-point shot for Burness goes down, and Britons maybe starting to figure some things out. 14-10.
Now we have a game. Hit that double figure mark.
Newman with the drive. Blocking foul goes against the Brits. I'll tell you, the one thing about Hope is they tend to almost palm that basketball as they make that turn. That's the second time they've turned that corner. Not sure whether they'll call that at all tonight, but they're awfully close. As Stanley will check into the basketball game, and sitting down on the bench is Rain Hinton. And the junior from Fort Wayne is scoreless in the first portion of this basketball game, and that is unusual.
76% free throw shooter is Lauren Newman, and the first one rims out. The junior looking to knock down one of two. 14-10 with 61 seconds left to play in the first quarter.
Second one finds its way through the rim, and look at this, Jimmy. The free throws right now, Britons are 0 for 4. That was the first one Hope's made tonight. They're 1 for 5. That's hard to imagine, too. Two real good basketball teams that shoot relatively well from the free throw line, and it's not like you're really well. Like on the other side, I guess Thomas, only a 38%er, had 2 of those for the Flying Dutch. Ball gets tipped away, but then picked back up. And I think the foul will go against the Flying Dutch. Yeah, it will go against number 12, Casey DeSmit. Nope, it'll go against number 3, Elena Welker of the Britons. I was looking at that initially, but the way that they were talking, I think it was a little push.
I think there's a push going to the floor on that loose ball. I think it was a good call by the official. Both teams in the bonus for the remainder of quarter one, and Rain Hinton's break does not last long.
I'll tell you what, I think Rain is going to have to start raining down a few points in this second quarter.
They're going to have to screen her open then, because Hope has no trouble staying disciplined to the paint where Rain usually gets her business done.
DeSmit puts the first one in, 79% shooter for DeSmit. And the lead now balloons to 6. Second shot, no good. Amanda Larson there with the block out to bring the basketball home. Welker with 33 in the game clock.
Get it.
Wishmeyer a little bit long, but Larson tries to bring it back in. Can't get the handle. It goes out of bounds. It will be Flying Dutch basketball, and we'll turn the shot clock off.
26.8 to play here in quarter one, 16-10. I think both teams are due for a second, third, and fourth quarter offensive explosion, but boy, the defenses have just been fantastic so far.
Stanley back in the basketball game as Hinton sits down, not trying to pick up that foul. And we got a real late whistle.
Defensive foul, yeah.
And it's going to go against Welker.
Going through the screen right there. Just knocked her to the ground.
You'll be able to see it right here on the replay.
Watch the screen. Right there.
Boom.
A little bit of a sell job maybe, but still.
Took a little time to call that one, but I think the call was correct.
Yep.
Thomas has already tried 2, now 3, and not been successful with any of them. If you're going to foul somebody, I guess number 25 is a good candidate to send to the free throw line. And she makes 1 out of 4 here so far tonight and stretches the lead to 17-10. Brits with plenty of time. They ought to get a good shot off before the quarter ends.
Have to get a good shot, though. They've been hard to come by so far.
They have been hard to come by, no doubt about that. Quick hands again. Kick out to Burness. 3-point shot. Off the mark, and that's how the quarter will end. 17-10. Flying Dutch on top here on the Britain Sports Network. And I'll tell you, Jimmy, you can see why this is the number 3 ranked team in the country right now. They have been a handful to deal with so far.
Only 3 players on the Hope bench, Jim, in their warm-up shirts.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I believe, has logged minutes.
Let us know if you're out there, webcast at albion.edu. We would love to hear from you tonight. For the Britons so far this evening, they're 4 of 8 from the field. They're actually hitting at a 50% clip, but they've only taken 8 shots. For Hope so far, they're 6 of 15 for 40%, but again, 7 more shots compared to the Britons. In fact, now we've just added a shot. That last one make them 4 for 9 at 44%. Brits are 2 for 4 from deep, 1 for 5 for Hope, 3 for 11 for the Flying Dutch tonight from the free throw line, and the Britons 0 for 4 so far in the night. Total rebounds 7 for the Lady Dutch, and or 12 for the Lady Dutch and 7 for the Lady Britons here this evening. Offensive rebounds, they have 7 offensive rebounds for the Lady Dutch right now, which has helped for them to convert a couple of those points that they have here as they lead at the end of the first quarter. Steals, 4 steals for the Dutch, 6 fouls for the Dutch compared to 7 fouls for the Britons. So we've got a situation going on right now where both teams into early foul trouble, and we'll just see whether that's going to be a factor as the game goes on. Individually, as far as fouls, 2 on Claire Bagley and 2 on J.C. King. Everybody else pretty much in pretty good shape. Start quarter number 2 with a block by Evelyn Wishmeyer. Maybe the Brits can have a big second quarter.
Convert it to points.
Larson from straight on, it won't stay home, and the rebound comes off to Lauren Newman. It's a one and done so far, Jimmy, and there's no second looks here for the Lady Britons.
Nope, that was a bit of a transition 3 right there. I like the look, though. I like the call.
Wishmeyer pulls down the Newman miss. And yeah, you're going to, that shot you'll take every time. That's not one where the coach goes, oh no, ball gets tipped out of bounds and stays with the Britons.
The fact that you get an open look.
Yeah.
Because really, they do not happen often against this Flying Dutch defense. Welker
putting things into play to Wishmeyer.
You can't be lax on your passes either. They have to be crisp.
Schoonfeld came out right away, and Burness hits her second triple of the night to make it a 4-point game. Nice Newman with a nice show, but the Hinton there to seal off the edge.
Try to get another turnover here.
Schoonfeld works it left side. 3-point splash for Lauren Newman from Flushing, Michigan, the junior. And it goes back to a 20-13 game, 7-point cushion.
That's a big answer right there.
Wishmeyer so far and Rain Hinton, neither one have gotten off the mark here early. Good job by Larson to hustle for the basketball, but she loses it off her knee and out of bounds.
Love the effort. Love the effort. Good things are going to happen when you keep crashing the boards like that.
So far tonight, Rain Hinton has only taken 1 shot, Jim. She's 0 for 1 tonight. 1 rebound and 1 personal foul.
And you know how important she is to this team in this offense. Lost
Thomas
the handle.
Drives and doesn't come away with the basketball.
Might have been looking for a foul based on that smile driving in, but officials are not going to bail her out with a call.
Larson to Welker, and the Britons now need to figure something out. Wishmeyer comes out to Burness. The give and go to Welker underneath, but Thomas is there to cut it off. Inside to Wish, and she throws that one up and hits the floor.
Didn't she get fouled on the way up?
No foul called. Coach Carden now trying to lobby that case, but instead that ball will be turned over to the Flying Dutch.
Jim Carden writes in, Jim, thanks for broadcasting. Rough start for the Brits. Need some offense. Hopefully they start falling for us.
Olivia Voskul comes back into the ball game here for the Flying Dutch. And it just is almost like a machine, Jim. They pull 2 out, they put 2 more back in, and nothing changes out on that basketball floor for the Flying Dutch. Go inside to Voskul. Hinton does the best she can do without drawing a foul.
Yep, can't guard size, though. That's
no,
the thing. If she has positioning and she has that much arm span, wingspan, it's really tough to guard her, especially from that close to the basket.
Burness with the run out to Wishmeyer, back to Welker, back to Burness in the corner, 11 to shoot. Welker should have taken that shot there, and instead we got a whistle, and the ball is going to be turned over as the foul will be called against the Lady Britons. And they're going to call that on Burness, on Emily Burness.
Spirited communication there between Burness and Welker at the end of that one, too. Pass open that shot. When I clear out and I kick back, you shoot.
She had a good look, and then she was just a little hesitant. Put that ball on the floor.
Yeah. Don't be shy about it.
You can't be shy against these guys tonight.
Nope.
If you're going to be shy against the Flying Dutch tonight, you're going to find yourself down 20 before you know it. Down 9 right now. Back out front.
That's a walk.
Yeah, that's too many steps.
3 on the floor right there.
Lauren Newman
for Schoonfeld.
Step through her, too. So the Britons with the basketball back down 9. Just underway, quarter number 2. Good to have you here on the Britain Sports Network tonight on a Wednesday night.
Need some shots to drop now, Jim.
Lob pass gets knocked away. And the foul, I believe, will go against Amanda Larson as she was trying to fight for that basketball. And I'll tell you what, this first half has been a challenge, to say the least, as Rebecca Ross checks back in, and Amanda Larson will take a break.
Flying Dutch, Jim, have done a great job of making Rain Hinton somewhat of a non-factor so far in this game. So one of the best in the conference is going to have to step up.
Tolbert gives it to Voskul, who cuts through the double team, misses the shot. Burness pulls down the rebound. And you know, there's really no running against these guys either, because all 5 blue shirts are back in position by the time you get the midcourt stripe. 3-point shot over the top, skips off, no good. Rebound comes off to a very fast and running Kennedy Schoonfeld into the front court. Had the 3-point shot set up for Lauren Newman, but she didn't take it. Goes to Voskul in the corner. Whistle.
On the nickel dimer.
Oh, boy, if that's hitting, that's 2 on Rain.
Yeah, that's a tough call right there. Not for as much contact as we have seen so far in this game, for that one to be whistled. Hand on the lower back right there. Must have been enough of either a tug or a grab, jersey tug or like a hip grab, because it sure didn't look like much.
Madeline Stanley will check in right away. Voskul with the triple team. We got whistles. Is it a jump ball? Yes, it is. And the ball will come back to the Lady Brits.
Now, if you're going to throw it in, if you're that tall, Jim, you can't hold the ball around your hips and not expect somebody to reach in there and tie that one up.
Britons will take a timeout. I'll go up to the MIAA, see if we can get some score updates around the ladies' side of the league here this evening.
And, Jim, tonight in men's action, Albion is at Olivet, Trine is at Hope, Calvin is at Adrian, and Alma is at Kalamazoo. And the Britons on the men's side, the lone undefeated team in the conference, 6-0. Trine 1 game back at 5-1. So that Trine Hope contest looks like it's going to be a good one too.
Looking at some stats that are really not coming up right now. So let's go over to the men's side, see how the Brits are doing tonight at Olivet.
22-13 your score here. 5:56 to play in the first half.
Albion up 20-17 about midway through the first half at Olivet here early. Men that seem like they just always get off to that slow first half start, Jim. Ball gets kicked out front to Elena Welker. Back into the corner to Burness. 8 to shoot. Cross-court pass scooped up by Ross. Show and go to Welker. Floater no good, and the buzzer's going to go off. The shot clock violation on the Britons as they just couldn't find an open look.
Those are the kind of empty possessions that you just can't have. It's a good defense, but you still have to be able to give yourself at least one reasonably open look.
Update from Olivet. The Brits up now by 6 at the 7.5-minute mark, 25-19. Kick out goes to the right corner by Tolbert. Shot no good. Rebound. Fought for underneath, and a great job by Rebecca Ross to come up with that one. Yeah, looked like it was putback time.
You're not going to win many of those 50-50 balls against her, I don't think. She gonna take that one.
She is a determined young lady.
She's tough.
Wishmeyer again, no look over Tolbert. Back in the corner, and again, no
nice step fake.
Good solid third step as the run out will be a little too strong, but the putback by Thomas is also a little strong, and we've got a Lady Dutch sitting down on the floor after she kind of ran into the bleachers down there. That is Courtney Barnes, and it looks like she's going to be okay. Took a hard fall up against those bleachers.
Yeah, she wasn't the one who was fouled, though. You saw there. She figured as much contact as she got. Surely I'm the one going to the line, but it was the putback that got the whistle.
Jess Mormon will go to the free throw line instead.
Shannon Salter writes in and says, give Albion another free throw shot. Ken Kirsch also writes in and says, go Brits, go.
Mormon misses the opener, and the Britons going to bring a couple new faces in. And I'll tell you what, the young lady we saw the other night.
Sharika Finjap.
Yep.
Good shot blocker.
Second shot is measured and made by Jess Mormon.
I think she'll have plenty to do while she's on the floor tonight, because Hope has no trouble working that ball inside, taking their shots within about 5 to 6 feet.
See if this will change the complexion of the game at all for the young freshman. It's a big ask for her to come in, but she looked good the other night, and I'll tell you, the Britons a little slow tossing that ball into the middle, aren't they, Jim?
Yep, waited too long on that pass. Good idea on the screen and roll.
DeSmith to Tolbert back out front for the three, and Lauren Newman makes him pay, and just like that, the Britons now been doubled up 26-13 as Hope's starting to find the mark here at the Kresge.
Also want to say hi to Mr. John Thompson. Says, sounding great, hope you are well. It's good to hear from you, John, and I appreciate you tuning in tonight.
No doubt about that. A good fellow that used to work with us here, and good to hear that he's out and about. Hopefully everything is all well there, John, for you. Lady Britons really have some things to talk about, Jim. It has been a rough road here early on, as the Britons right now are 8 of 17. Well, I'm looking at the men's side. I better go back over to the other side, aren't I? Huh? That was too many shots and too many makes.
There's no way they're 8 of 17 right now with only 13 points.
5 of 15, 33% for the Britons, 3 of 8 from behind the arc, 8 of 22 for the Flying Dutch, 2 of 8 from deep. And the Britons really having a hard time finding a good shot tonight early on. Individual points tonight, Lauren Newman with 8 for the Flying Dutch. Olivia Voskul with 7. On the Britain side, it's been Emily Burness and pretty much nothing else. Burness with 2 3-point shots, 4 for Amanda Larson and 3 for Rebecca Ross. And with that, everybody else has a goose egg.
Feast or famine from 3 right now, because they're cutting off the inside looks.
Looks a lot like that first game they played, though, Jim, where the Brits were down big in that first half. Floater just trickles through those cords for Emily Burness, and I'll tell you, that's 3 for 3. And without Emily, this would be a blowout.
Now you need to stop.
10-point game.
Can't get it all in one possession.
No, you can't. Voskul working with Finjap inside. Finjap says no. Get that stuff out of here. Britt's on the floor. Welker comes up with the basketball. And somewhere in that scrum, somebody got called for a foul.
Pick your player.
Wow, look at this. There's something we're going to watch for a while. Sharika Finjap with the rejection. And I'll tell you what, Olivia Voskul went, what just happened?
That's not supposed to happen to me.
That doesn't happen in the MIAA very often. Now the young freshman with the wake-up call there.
Well, she also did a really good job of split-second recognition, kind of low-pointing that ball. Voskul had that ball around her shoulder instead of up above.
Britton still looking for a good shot. Hinton on the bench with a couple of fouls and no points. Welker with the basketball. Britt's really just looking for a place to find something to happen. They're really not having any success inside. Finjap picks the basketball up, but I think she stepped on the end line.
It's all right.
It's okay. Get her accustomed to playing on this level. The freshman has a lot of Wednesday nights ahead of her down the road. There's no doubt about that.
Especially if she can be that kind of a force underneath. Take one of your better inside players and make them think twice about wanting to enter the paint.
Voskul. Look at it, Finjap. Ball goes into Thomas. They'll kick it back out into the corner to Newman. Out front to Mormon. Jump shot for Thomas. Oh, my goodness. Look what I just found right there. That ball was just hit at the right spot, Jim.
Back
landed dead and fell in.
Yep. Shooter's touch.
29-16. Tolbert with Wishmeyer. Burness from the right side. Boom. Emily Burness says, I'm going to keep you in the game.
She came to play tonight.
Come with me. 4 for 5 now for Burness and 12 points on the evening.
Oh!
Burness out of nowhere says, not on my court, Olivia Voskul. No, not going to happen. And in fact, that was Jess Mormon that got that one knocked away. I thought it was 5, it was 3.
Shot in the arm, hopefully.
20-second clock now as that ball went out and gets reset. Down the lane into the triple team.
Make them think twice.
Voskul with Finjap on her. Oh boy, that was a weak one there. That one after what we've seen being called tonight. That was really a little bit. Yep. All right, we'll let it go.
5 team fouls against the Brits, 1 against the Dutch. 29-19 your score, 2:10 to play here in the first half.
Olivia Voskul with a couple, and she'll miss the first one.
Voskul gets you 2 out of every 3 season-long average.
Out of Holland Christian, 6'3" junior.
It's just been a tough night for shooting all the way around.
It has been. And free throws, which are normally relatively automatic, have been very, very difficult.
Well, you said in the open, Jim, that if there was a potential weakness for this Hope squad, free throw shooting. Of course, it's an 11-point game right now, so free throw shooting not as important. But again, down the stretch, if it's a tight game, ooh, that was almost a travel.
The Smith came into the basketball game for the Flying Dutch. Wishmeyer sends it to J.C. King.
Yeah.
And then the ball gets really thrown away. In a hurry to Smith. Puts the brakes on, and the tires don't hold.
Hearing footsteps right there, Jim. When you have a 2-on-1 like that, you have to take it. You can't stop and kick out when you have numbers. Mallory
Gerber checks in now, so we've almost gone through the entire lineup here for the ladies from Holland. And Nicole Sweetland in for the Lady Britons.
I see only 2 players down there still have their warm-up shirts on, so yeah, they'll all probably have minutes by the end of the night. It's a deep team. 13
different faces so far, Jim, as that ball goes into Finjap, leaves it a little bit short. I'll tell you, that's going to be one she'll make an awful lot of, too, as the time goes on as well. Newman cuts along the baseline and gets an easy 2.
Don't give the defense a chance to set up. Drive strong before they can get set. Good recognition right there.
Quick team from Hope, man. They are very quick all over the place, and now they're intensifying this defense. DeSmith's going to be called for a blocking foul. She's not happy about it, but I'll tell you.
And with a game like this, as emotional as this one is, you can't jaw to the official.
No, you
after
can't.
A call.
And I'm not sure, but she's going to come over and sit to talk to the coach right now. Yep, look at that. Little shaking of the head.
Yep, don't worry about it.
Yep.
You're playing physical. Sometimes they'll call, sometimes they won't. No big deal. It's what happens after that can make or break a game.
Welker with the inbounds pass to Burness. The little hook shot, no good. The rebound comes off for the Flying Dutch.
Out of control right there going up.
Newman for three. A little bit short. Ball gets tipped around and controlled by the Dutch.
Wide
and again,
open
that's
look.
a Barnes. Again, a shot missed, and Barnes gets the rebound, and this time she'll draw the foul.
Finjap with the foul on the block right there. Got a little bit of the arm going up as we dip under a minute to play. Still 32-19. Hope leads.
13-point game right now, so things are not really out of reach for the Lady Brits, but they're going to have to come out in that third quarter and start to make some shots and figure some things out. Whatever they're going to do at halftime, it's going to depend on whether this becomes a basketball game in quarter number 3, Jim.
Appreciate Daniel Russell checking in, Hope fan, and he's giving a shout out to number 24, Kayla Russell. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight, Daniel. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast.
Kayla, a senior from Clarkston, Michigan. Second one also no good. And Emily Burness there for the rebound.
Good box out by Burness right there. You have to do that. You have to match fundamentals with fundamentals against a strong team like Hope.
Brits really need to find a bucket right now. Get this thing back to about 11 as they go in with maybe a little bit of momentum. Burness for three, no wide. Ball is saved, but then lost. Wishmeyer grabs a hold of it. And a timeout will go to Coach Morehouse. Yeah.
I didn't think they had possession of the ball.
So a timeout by Coach Morehouse will give them the basketball with 29 seconds to play in the half and 29 seconds on that shot clock. So they're going to be able to come down, run a play, and get a good look here tonight before we end this first half. For the men, it's a close one at Olivet, 36-31, as they're about ready to close out the first half. And for the Britons there, shooting 48%. Olivet shooting 48% as well. Couple of individual numbers. James Zell with 10 points. Caden Ebeling with 7 points. 9 for Eddie Thigpig from Olivet. 5 for Cullen Carter. Again, an Olivet team that has a couple of handfuls of scorers. The Brits doing a pretty good job as well. So, there are no easy nights when it comes to the MIAA, when it comes to basketball.
Nope.
And the Lady Britons would like to be able to figure a few things out and make this a much tougher night in this second half for the Lady Flying Dutch. But right now, they've not had an answer. 32-19. Erica Tolbert from Lathrop Village. She's a senior as well.
Barely a 1 second difference between game clock and shot clock.
Tolbert will work off the double screen at the top.
They're letting her dribble that ball a lot, Jim.
Don't expect she's the one that's going to get the shot. Brits bump it away. They have time. One shot up. It accounted if it went in, but it doesn't, and that'll end the first half. Of the Britons will go to the locker room, trailing by 13, 32-19.
Tough first half all the way around. We'll get you some halftime stats momentarily. Again, 32-19 your score here on the Britain Sports Network. Looks like the leading scorer in the first half, game's leading scorer, was Lauren Newman for Hope. 5 of 8 from the floor, 13 points in total. 8 points for Olivia Voskel, 4 points for Casey DeSchmidt, and also for Ashley Thomas. 2 points for Kennedy Schoonveld, and Jess Mormon chipped in a point. For the Britons, individual scoring, they are led by Emily Burness with 12, 4 of 6 from three-point territory, 4 points for Amanda Larson, and 3 points for Rebecca Ross. And unfortunately, my friend, that's it.
Yeah.
For scoring. 3 players scored, and one of those was not named Rain Hinton. So you wonder about what they would do defensively. The Flying Dutch have done exactly what what you have to do against this very talented Brit squad, and that's take out Evelyn Wishmeyer and Rain Hinton. And they've done that tonight.
Done a really good job of it here so far early. Brits just seemed like they couldn't find an open look here in that first half, Jim. It made it extremely difficult for them, as we've got Scott Carden coming up to talk to us for a minute here on about the baseball team this year.
And Jim, Rain Hinton more fouls than field goal attempts.
That's hard to imagine as well. That is hard to imagine as we'll bring the coach in. Coach, good to see you.
How we doing today?
Good, man. Come on in here with us. I'm going to give you a mic. How's
Great,
that?
thank
And we're
you.
going to chit chat a little bit, man. You know, you're the other Carden here, as far as we know. Good to meet you, Coach.
I am the other Carden. So, my wife's obviously doing a great job with the program, and
Most definitely.
you know, it's fun to have both of us in the family working at the college and being a part of the institution, and it's fun to get to come out and watch her play, and our daughters get to come out with us and travel with them and some of those things. So it's neat.
That makes it really neat. There's no
For sure.
doubt about that. Tell me about the kids. Your daughters. You said daughters plural. How many daughters?
We have two daughters, 9 and 11, and they're involved in everything. And obviously, with mom being a basketball coach, they're pretty darn good in basketball. So
Yeah.
that's great. And they're gym rats. So they play softball and volleyball and soccer and just about everything. So
I was going to ask you. With Dad being a baseball coach, there's got to be a little softball involved,
there
right?
is. They would definitely, I think, rather be in the gym shooting with mom than they would on the softball field with Dad. But they definitely enjoy it. So.
That's good, man. Any potential that they may end up being players for Mom down the road, you think?
I would think so. I mean, I think there's enough ability at this point, but you know how it is. I mean,
Yeah.
Who knows if they'll even want to play basketball in a couple years.
Yeah, no
So,
doubt. No doubt. Tell me a little bit about the baseball team, because you guys actually had a spring season, a fall season in
Correct.
September.
Yep.
And it's hard to imagine, but you're going to start playing baseball here in February, aren't you?
Yes, we started practice last Sunday, so we open up February 28th down in Indiana.
Okay, all right.
And then we head to Florida from there. So we have a good group of some upperclassmen that are veterans. We have 8 returning starters on the position side of things. So we like our chances. We have a good group of freshmen that are going to really supplement and kind of offset some of our returners. So we really like the mix. We have great leadership right now. Our 4 seniors, who I'm sure are walking around here acting crazy, but they've been great and done a great job with their younger guys, kind of bringing them up to speed and kind of helping them get through the process.
Yeah.
So,
We've not done any baseball in the MIAA, man. I'd love to be able to do some
I would
baseball.
love to have you. I told somebody else. I said it's like I made it finally. I got on with the guys with the voice of the Britons. So
Yeah, there you go, man. It's
I
good.
listen to you guys in basketball and football and everything else. So it's great to be up here.
It's time for us to do some baseball,
would be
Coach, is
great.
what I'm saying.
It would
How's
be
that?
great.
That'd be a good way to be able to do things, man.
That would be awesome.
We've really not seen the complex in motion over
Right.
there, but you got a great facility over there for playing.
It's been phenomenal. It's a great place to train every day, and there's a lot of advantages that we have over a lot of schools. And then the recruiting process, it's really kind of helped us be able to kind of show what we have to offer.
Yeah.
We've been able to tell them for years, but now we can show it with the facilities. So we've been very fortunate, really thankful for all the people that made it happen, and we're very blessed to have it.
Tell me about the conference this year. What does it look like? Who's the team to beat?
Well, Adrian's been top dog, and until somebody knocks them off, they're the team to beat.
Okay.
So, the top 4 teams, all of us, we finish in the top 4. All of us that finish in the top 4 return pretty core group of guys.
Okay.
So I really expect the top 4 to be really hotly competitive. I think there's some teams that weren't in the top 4 that definitely are talented enough to get up in there. So I think it's really going to be a fun season. There's a lot of veteran kids in the league this year.
Okay.
A lot of talent. So it's definitely going to be fun to be able to compete and see kind of what we have to offer. So
It sounds like, Scott, that you're telling me that baseball in the MIAA is just like football and basketball and everything, competition top to bottom.
in my 17 years, it's really improved.
Yeah.
I mean, it really has. Over the last 4 or 5 years especially. There's a lot of us that can play with the big boys day in and day out. Until we get there, we have to prove we can do it on a day-to-day basis.
Sure.
So, but the league's gotten a lot better, and I think with Division III baseball being something that is prominent in the North, unlike some of the other divisions, it's good for us.
Yeah.
So.
It's got to be tough getting some baseball games in up here in Michigan, though.
It is. We've played in plenty of 35-degree days with snow, so it's definitely a challenge. We got a lot of guys with mental toughness, thank goodness, and we try not to make excuses and just go out there and compete. So
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah.
Coach, this early in the season, you mentioned you're going to take a trip to Indiana, then down to Florida.
Correct.
What are some things that you hope to learn about the squad in some of these early games?
Well, I think the big thing is we got to just get, I think we know the core group of veterans that we have that are going to contribute. So the biggest thing, just like always, is trying to get the freshmen in there in key situations and trying to see what they can offer and trying to get their feet wet and make sure there's not too much pressure on them and all those things. But I think, the biggest question marks, we lost a first-team all-leaguer with Mitch Shedlowski, one of our starting pitchers, who was clearly one of the top kids in the league, so we have to replace his innings. And that's a big challenge. And then we lost an all-league shortstop, Joe Turnbull, who was one of the best defensive players to come through the league at shortstop in the last 15 years. So you got two big pieces there you have to replace. And I think what we keep telling our guys is, like, nobody's going to replace those two. We just have to have guys have a good role.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the biggest thing. Can guys just fill in that role and be able to contribute? And fortunately, we played 3 games down in Indiana and then 6 down in Florida, and they're all against really good competition. So we'll have a really good barometer of where we're at when we get back.
Yeah.
Coach, with some of those younger players,
Yep.
especially early in the season when you're taking some of these travel games, do you find yourself kind of wanting to put some of these younger players into pressure situations just to kind of see how they'll respond?
Yes and no. I mean, we don't want to force the issue and set kids up to fail, obviously.
Right.
We'd rather start them and kind of ease their way in and kind of let them get their feet wet. The tough thing about baseball, unlike football and basketball and a lot of those, is once they're out, they're out.
Yeah.
So you have to be really careful. We also play a handful of what we call reserve games, which are games where just our backups can play in. They're basically JV games, but we don't carry a JV. So we can get some guys' feet wet early in a college setting, and then kind of give them a chance to kind of mature and then get better from there. So,
man, it sounds like a fun season. You need to put a dome over that thing, though, I think is what you need to do. Can we talk to Matt Aaron a little bit about that for you?
Please talk to Matt Aaron about that. I would love that. So
that'd make it even easier.
That would be great.
It's got to be, you say 17 years for you here?
Yes.
And Doreen's been here for
19.
19.
Yep.
So the 2 years that she was here that you weren't here, where were you?
Well, I actually was here. I was actually an assistant for Doreen.
I'll be darned. Okay.
That's a whole nother story.
Oh, my gosh.
You open up a can of worms there, but
man, I don't want to hear that story. That might get you in a lot of trouble at the house, Coach.
For 6 years, I was her assistant.
Okay.
So for 4 years, I was the head baseball coach and also the women's basketball assistant.
I'll be darned. Okay.
So that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was definitely nuts, but it was fun, and there was a lot of good and a lot of bad. But we came in the same year, and we've been here ever since. But I've been fortunate enough to be the head coach for 17 years. Man,
that is amazing. It's got to be a different life, though, to have 2 coaches in the house at the same time, isn't it?
It's a crazy dynamic. Some people that know us and some people that don't know us real well, but they know what we go through, say, well, how do you do it? And I always say, not very well, but we make it happen. So, it's just a matter of shuffling and, ask for some help sometimes from friends and family, and you just make it work.
There's this guy named Jim Carden that keeps messing all the time, man. Is that kind of a relative, I believe?
That's my father.
That's what we kind of thought.
He definitely bleeds purple and gold. So,
yeah, he definitely does.
He follows both of us, and he's our biggest supporter, and
the good news at least is the seasons kind of overlap, but they don't in the same way. I mean, when you're in the heat of your season, Doreen's kind of in our off season.
Correct.
I got to believe that maybe there's a good support system there for the 2 of you, because right now, you got a tough game tonight. So if this doesn't turn around, Doreen's not going to be the happiest coach at the end of the night.
We both know when to talk to each other and when not to.
I bet so.
And when to bring things up and when not to.
Yeah.
So we have about a 5-week overlap period. But like you said, when we start playing, they're finishing up. So, but it's good. I mean, we bounce things off each other, and with me being her former assistant, there's times where I want to say things that I probably shouldn't, and there's times where I usually know not to. So, but it's been nice for me now that I have kids. I can kind of take a backseat and just be a fan.
Yeah.
And sometimes she wants to talk and I don't really want to, and vice versa. But it's fun, and we love being here, and we're really happy for our opportunity.
Coach, one of the things you said a few minutes ago was that because of your dual schedules, you don't maybe get a chance to maybe come to the games as much.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to you to be here to support Doreen, but especially on a stage like tonight, playing such a good team at Hope.
Yeah, my girls would not have missed this for the world. So one had a practice tonight and one had a game, and all we cared about was getting here for it. So, whether we win, lose, no matter what happens, we want to make sure that we're here to support, Doreen and what she's doing. And obviously she's done a phenomenal job. And, it's always fun when we get to play against Hope and great competition. And, it's definitely a good friendly rivalry, at least most of the time.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's been great, and it's our girls love being here and they love being around. So it's an awesome thing. It's really hard to miss when we have to miss a basketball game.
I bet so. All right, we're about to send you out of here,
Sounds great.
but you were an assistant coach for. I got one more comment I need.
Okay.
All right, you were her assistant for a while. We're down 32-19 right now. What's she thinking? Where's she going? What's going to happen in the second half?
Well, I think we've been a little beat up, and I think she knows that. So I think she's going to pick up the tempo a little bit in the second half. It's kind of what we did at Hope,
right?
And I expect us to play a little bit faster paced game. I think we're in a decent position, even though we're down. I think we've had some things not go our way, and I think she's hopefully thinking the same thing. I think that's what she's thinking, and I expect she's fired them up a little bit at halftime, and I trust that we're going to come out with a little bit of fire at least early. So.
I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see how great of a prognosticator you are, Coach.
Yeah, we'll see. Thanks so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Hey,
Thanks
Scott,
for all you guys do.
You bet. Thank you, man.
Take care.
Good luck on your road trip, and good luck on the baseball season this year.
Thanks so much.
Scott Carden, our guest here at the half, as we get a chance to talk to the other side of the coaching pair here, and we take a look at the stats right now, Jim, from that first half. And when you take a look at those, they were not a pretty situation all the way around. When you look at the Hope Flying Dutch tonight, they are shooting 40% from the floor, only 20% from behind the arc, 36% overall from the free throw line. So they have done not a very wonderful job there from that line. The best thing that you got basically is to set them at the free throw line and let them play from there. For the Britons on the other side of things, they're shooting a little better percentage at 44% in that first quarter, but they only shot 27% in that second quarter from the floor, which was a difficult situation. Overall for the game right now, the Brits 35% at 7 for 20 from the field, 5 for 11 from behind the arc. And the young lady that's really kept this whole thing going for the Brits is Emily Burness, as Burness with 12 points here, as you said a little bit earlier in this halftime. And I think the coach Carden that we just talked to probably has a pretty good insight, and I would think maybe a pretty good strategy for the other coach, Carden, and her ladies tonight to try to get back into this ball game at the third quarter. Maybe it's time to pick up the pace a little bit and try to run a little bit.
9 more field goal attempts in the first half for Hope, +4 in terms of field goal makes, +6 in terms of free throws. So if those are 2-point shots each, that's 14 points right there. That's your difference. More field goal attempts, knocking down the free throws, getting to the line more, but also the rebounds tell the story. They've doubled them up. Hope has 23 rebounds to 12. 11 of those rebounds have come on the offensive side. Only 1 offensive rebound for the Brits in that first half. Hope gives themselves second chance point opportunities. The Britons have to start knocking down more shots because they're not getting rebounds.
No doubt about that. The men are doing a little better over in Olivette. At the half, it's 38-31 with the men on top of the Comets. And the men, again, going to be home this next Wednesday. They'll have the Flying Dutchman on Wednesday night, and we'll be getting that ball game to you as well here on the Britain Sports Network. But as it stands right now, it'll be Flying Dutch basketball to open up quarter number 3. And the Lady Britons are on the floor and ready to play some basketball as we go back to the starting 5 for both teams. Voskuhl, DeSmit, Schoenfeld, Newman, and Thomas for the Lady Dutch. And Welker, Larson, Wishmeyer, Hinton, and Burness for the Lady Britons. As we flip ends, and hopefully this end is a little more friendly to the home team.
Hope will be playing by their bench, but also at the majority of the student crowd down there.
Newman with the jump shot, no good. Welker with the rebound, and the Brits need to turn things around right now.
Not very good positioning on the offensive glass for Hope there. Everybody out of position.
Wishmeyer looking to get a shot, but gets it into Hinton instead. Ball gets knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Britons with 19 to shoot.
A lot of force going in by Ray Hinton. I sense a bit of frustration. Only 1 field goal attempt in that first half. So if a player is due, it'd be Rain Hinton. Second half.
We could really use a big quarter right now out of Rain. Works through the triple team, no good. Ball gets bounced out, and it comes away to the Lady Dutch.
Good double team right there. You said triple team even. Not only help defense, but help on help.
Welker has Newman as they size one another up here on this offensive end.
Even the best scorers, Jim, you can't ask them to break a triple team.
You really can't. You're going to have to maybe, at that point, if the triple team stays, maybe kick that ball out. And we have a jump ball situation. It will be Britain's basketball.
Sloppy start to the second half by both squads.
Has been a somewhat of a sloppy start to the opening of this basketball game as well. So we're revisiting the opening couple minutes of this game tonight.
Well, you got to make the most of each possession then.
Welker smart without giving that ball up. Tries to get it to Hinton, has it tucked away, but Welker comes up with it again. She'll drive into the lane, jump ball situation, or is it a foul? No, it's going to be a foul.
Well, we have officials disagreeing here.
Yep.
They're going to get the foul.
Foul on
get it on Hope.
Outside official says Olivia Voskuhl reached in and grabbed the arm. The inside official was yelling jump ball, and you're right, Jimmy.
This official looked at Coach Morehouse and said she grabbed her.
Yep. Coach Morehouse comes walking to the midcourt stripe to talk about it just a little bit. Long jump shot, no good. Rebound comes off to Larson.
Only the second offensive rebound for the Brits tonight.
Burness with a show and go, stops from 15 and no good. Thomas pulls down the rebound.
Gotta knock down these shots. Can't go cold.
Brits need to kind of fire things up here this evening.
Double screen up top.
Gets a very good basketball team from Holland as they tip that basketball away.
Watch out behind you.
Welker to Larson, and they'll reset things.
You think you have a transition basket, and all of a sudden you have a player almost picking your pocket.
Again, that's why they're number 3 in the United States right now, as Burness has her 5th three-point shot of the night. Man, I'll tell you what. Emily Burness,
one unstoppable force tonight, number 32.
Is the only young lady that really has found her stride here tonight. She almost comes up with that steal.
Anticipating the passing lane right there.
Thomas dribbles in and kicks out. Three-point shot on the way, and boy, that didn't move the net for Lauren Newman. Newman, the junior out of Flushing, Michigan.
And that answer has been there most of the night for Hope. Britzel knocked on a big shot. Hope answers calmly and coolly.
Been here, done that, as Hinton got tied up and couldn't get to the spot. She goes over to the official and says, man, I was held out there. Official says, sorry, head to the other side.
Got to let the player tie her shoe before you inbound the ball. Burness back up the floor. I know we want to play in a hurry, but got to hold on.
35-22. Brits down by 13. Need to cut into this lead in quarter number 3 if you're going to have a chance to catch them in quarter number 4.
Can't let 13 become 18.
Newman with Wishmeyer on her. She drives, kicks out, but Burness is there to knock the basketball away. Wishmeyer looking for a spot. Tries to get it to Hinton, but Voskuhl gets her hands on it again, and this ball goes to the other end.
Trying to force it. I know you need to get Rain involved, but you can't do it at all costs. Good defense there by Wish.
Schoonfeld held on to the possession to Thomas with Wishmeyer on her. To DeWitt. And a long three-point shot for DeSmit. Casey DeSmit from Hudsonville, Michigan. Knocks that one home, and it's a 16-point cushion now.
All you can do is tip your cap with a shot like that.
Larson looked like she was going to take a shot, then dribbles in, takes the shot, and off the back of the rim, it comes back to her.
There you go.
Burness straight on. I'll tell you what, Emily Burness has been red hot from behind that arc.
Is that 6?
6 for 8 now on the night for Emily.
Good kick.
Three-point shot will rattle in and out. Welker in a hurry.
Wish for 3.
Britain's arch trying to run. Wishmeyer a little too strong, but Larson's there.
Oh, yeah, that's a foul. Climbed up the back for the rebound. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, just two players going for the ball.
You see
the rebound here? Going airborne and got to land somewhere. Unfortunately, it was
Right on Amanda Larson's back.
Back of Amanda Larson. 42-33. The men lead at Olivet about 2.5 minutes into the second half.
And again, that substitution pattern for the ladies from Holland as they run Courtney Barnes out right away. And goodness gracious, we cannot make free throws this evening.
Still have not made a free throw tonight, Jim.
That is just absolutely unreal. 0 for 5 now. 0 for 6, but Larson gets the rebound. We've done that before. Ball gets tipped around and goes back over to Holland, and Welker will get called for the reach in.
Yep.
Wow, I'll tell you what, that would be helpful
trying
too.
To make a play.
If you could add all 6 of those free throws at this point in time, it'd be 38-31 right now, but we're 0 for 6 now from the charity stripe.
Well, but Hope is also 6 of 17, so they could make the same argument that they'd be up by a lot more if they were knocking down most of theirs.
I think we must be tightening that basket somehow when they go to that stripe.
Yeah, I was going to say, so how did the long jump shots fall?
I don't know. There's a long jump shot for 3, and Lauren Newman makes us pay as she gets the open look. Newman having a pretty good night as well for the young ladies from Holland.
Leave her open.
3-point for Welker. Goes splash.
That'll change the way they play defense on future possessions, though. Have to spread it out more.
Newman is 3 for 6 tonight for Holland for the Hope Flying
Look at the
Dutch.
defense, Jim.
Welker playing Newman just nose to nose. Kavaskul swings it over to Mormon. Back outside to Barnes, who runs out of real estate. 5 to shoot, 4 to shoot, 3 to shoot, 2-1. They'll get the shot off. It's blocked, and that will cause a shot clock violation. The ball will go the other way.
Good answer on defense, 41-28. Thankfully, neither team in foul trouble after 2 quarters of teams going in the bonus almost immediately. Only 3 total team fouls here in quarter number 3. 2 against Hope, 1 against the Brits.
Individually, Newman with 2, DeSmit with 2, Bagley with 2, Finjap with 2, Hinton with 2, Welker with 2, and Larson with 2. And that's where we stand for fouls here as we hit the midway spot here in the quarter.
There you go.
Hinton finally.
Stretch them out. Rain cuts. If you can hit her with that bounce pass for a split second, she'll be open, but you have to make it crisp, and she has to knock it down right away.
Missed shot. Britons have the basketball back. Can we make the comeback? Welker kicks it into the corner.
Get another.
Back to Elena. No good as it spins around, and Thomas pulls it down. Amanda Larson reaches in and ties it up. But unfortunately, the arrow points the opposite direction.
Nothing wrong with that, though.
You know what? I'll tell you what. The Lady Britons have come out in this third quarter with a little more spunk.
Yeah.
They really have.
But still, Hope up double figures.
Albion's outscored Hope so far just by a bucket, 11-9 here in quarter number 3.
Timeout.
I'll tell you what, Coach Brian Morehouse says, you know what? I want to slow things down and get my team back under control here as the Britons trying to make a move.
Britain-bound days give admitted students the opportunity to sit in on a class, learn about Albion's learning opportunities, experience life on campus, and see popular areas of campus. Britain-bound days are set for February 17, March 20, and April 17. Direct questions to the Office of Admission, 517-629-0718, or visit albion.edu/admission.
Britons on top 46-36 over in Olivet right now. 5 minutes into half number 2.
James L has 16 points. Caden Ebling has 7. Eddie Thigpen leads the Comets with 14 points. But a 10-point lead for the Brits.
And the Lady Brits now trying to claw their way back into this ball game in quarter number 3.
Defense is going to get it done.
Backdoor cut, Brits are there, shot no good, Hinton couldn't pull it down.
That's an over the back though, Jim, on Schoonfeld.
And the inbounds goes by Mormon, goes right back into the bucket for now a 13-point cushion. Britain's a little frustrated right now.
Yep, trying to set a high screen, but players fighting right through it.
Welker gets bounced and bumped. Larson fights for the basketball. It gets knocked out of bounds, and it will stay with the Lady Britons with 20 to shoot.
Ashley Thomas, number 25, going up strong for that rebound, but off the hands and out of bounds. Brits keep the ball.
Britons inbounds deep to Ross, to Burness. She has been the only bright spot tonight. We got two Hope players on the floor. That's
a travel.
That is a travel, not a jump ball situation.
Brits take the ball anyway, but you're right. That should be a travel.
There were two people with their hands on the ball, but they both had blue shirts on.
So Brits maintain possession. 3:11 to play here in quarter three. 43-30. The number 3 team in the country, Hope, leads the Brits.
13 seconds on the shot clock for the Britons. Inbounds to Larson deep.
Wanting to get that ball into Hinton, but she's double teamed, Jim.
Ross has no place to go. They swing it over to Larson again with 5. Burness off the screen, has it blocked. Good job by Jess Mormon to put that hand on that basketball. They're paying a little more attention to Emily Burness. Somebody else is going to have to step it up now with 2:49 to play in quarter number 3. Still a 13-point game. You're not out of reach right now, Jimmy, but boy, you better start making a couple of buckets and whittling this thing down before you hit that fourth quarter.
Time is not your friend.
Thomas with 5 to shoot. Tolbert out front, no good. Rebound comes off to the Britons, and it's Burness. Long pass the other way. Reverse layup is good for Rebecca Ross.
Man, she has some moxie, Jim.
The trees were coming.
There, going inbounds by Amanda Larson. Almost got the steal instead. Got a little body.
You got to take some gambles at this point in time, Jim, as Olivia Voskuhl comes off the bench again. Here comes Wishmeyer back in, and it doesn't appear that anything is severely wrong with Evelyn after that bump in that first half.
No, it's just not moving 100%.
So probably a bruise on that leg of some sort or something like that. She's not moving quite as well as what she normally does, but it doesn't appear to be serious, as Voskuhl was camped out on that low block in the lane and misses the shot. Long outlet, Burness through the double team, and she'll be fouled.
Going for the swipe, and Lauren Newman got the hand.
Here's the replay. Long pass.
Watch the swipe with the right hand right there. Officials saying she got hand as well as ball. She thought it was clean. Officials disagreed. Officials get final say.
It's amazing how that works, isn't it? Newman now with 3 personal fouls.
Singularly focused to get that ball into Hinton.
Slides it to Hinton, and boy, we needed that one to kind of find its way to the rim. A little bit short, but Rain will get a chance to shoot 2 from the line.
But that has not really helped the Britons at all tonight. They have yet to convert a free throw.
Yeah, maybe Rain Hinton can turn things around here.
2 fouls against Ashley Thomas, Jim.
There we go.
Finally.
That's all we needed was
Goodness gracious.
Get that basketball through that rim one time from the free throw line. Maybe this will turn things around. It's a 10-point game with a chance to make it 9. Yes. Rain Hinton says, what's the difficulty in this?
Well, sometimes it's important to just show that ball that it does in fact fit through that cylinder. And then, you know, it just encourages more players to throw it up there, and eventually that ball just wants to keep falling in for them.
Let's see if the Brits can get a couple of stops and cut this thing down to maybe 7 before the quarter's end. Double team. Voskuhl with the left hand. Boy, what a nice move by that young lady.
It was that stop and then that pivot foot to the left and the long strides. It's hard to guard.
Olivia Voskuhl makes it an 11-point cushion again.
Nice
Kick
pass.
to the corner. Burness for 3. Off the iron, no good. Wishmeyer fights for the basketball but doesn't come down with it as Jess Mormon has it. That length is so tough on these rebounds. Another 3-point shot.
6-point swing right there, Jim.
Lauren Newman, who's starting to take things over. Burness dribbles, drives, kicks. Ball gets batted back to her. Welker with a show. 3-point shot. And you know, again, every time you think you got an open shot in that corner, as Burness gets it back, there's somebody with a hand in your face. They're awfully quick to close out. Ross to Welker.
They anticipate the passing lanes, too.
Yeah, they do.
Which makes it so difficult.
Into Hinton, who draws the triple team. Back out front to Welker and the travel. You're just going to have to take that shot. Elena Welker, who is a freshman out of Dearborn Heights, has had a couple of those tonight. When that ball steps out to you, whether you like it or not, that's the only wide open shot we've had all night. You got to pull the trigger.
And that's the thing, too, about Hope and their decision to double and triple team Rain Hinton, who has taken a seat, Jim, for the remainder of this quarter. Somebody has to be open.
Yeah.
The numbers dictate you cannot triple team a player and not have somebody or two other players open. They have to have the confidence to pull the trigger and take the shot.
Hope has the ability to move this thing all the way down to a second before they can take that shot, as there's 1 second difference in the shot clock and the game clock. 3-point shot from the corner, and all of a sudden, Lauren Newman cannot miss. Long throw at the buzzer, and the Hope Flying Dutch come out on the floor with a celebration as they go up 17 as they head into the fourth quarter.
50-43 on the men's side. Albion leads Olivet with 11:27 to play in the contest. So the Brits with a 7-point lead on the road, but trailing by 17 here at home.
It is a tough night of basketball here for the Lady Brits. We kind of wondered how this was all going to go down. We thought it was going to be a really good, tight struggle. But tonight, the ladies from Hope have just been everywhere, Jim. As it really has not been a situation where we've had the opportunity to get many good looks.
High school sophomores and juniors are invited to get a taste of what Albion has to offer. Albion 101 is scheduled for April 9th. Direct questions to the Office of Admission. That's 517-629-0718, or visit albion.edu/admission.
Let's see if we can find some other scores here going on tonight in the MIAA while we have a break. Let's see. Hope and Trine are locked up tonight. 70-50 with Hope on top in that one.
Yeah, that's kind of a surprising one right there.
That is a surprising one right there on the men's side, as Hope sitting in a pretty good spot. We'll see Hope coming in on Wednesday night. Adrian is rolling past Calvin tonight, 69-42.
That's a bit of an upset.
Alma over Kalamazoo, 75-59. All those ball games around the midway point of the second half as Hope gets the basketball to open up quarter number 4. And before we get underway, we have a whistle underneath.
Shot clock. Never started running. Got to put it to 28. Stay stuck at 30 once they got over midcourt.
It is an interesting.
Should be 25. Because there's 5 seconds ran off the clock and it's a 30-second shot clock. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. All they got to do is look up here and ask you, Jim, and you'll be able to tell them, right?
Well, I get about 1 out of every 10 right.
Whistle on the floor will go against the ladies from Albion.
A little bit of frustration, whole lot of physicality. That one's going against, I believe, Madeline Stanley, the junior.
Just to give you an idea right now on this men's side here tonight,
that's
Jim.
4 on Wishmeyer, Jim.
That's not a good thing. Wish not having the night that she'd like to have this evening as Rain Hinton checks back in along with Amanda Larson.
That can't be right, though.
No, I don't think Wish has only got a couple.
No, because it also said she had 26 points tonight.
They got the wrong number 23. That's going on the other side. Yeah. 23 is Lauren Newman, I think, but I don't think she has 4 fouls as we figure things out here. But, Jimmy, I'll tell you a little bit of a surprise right now. Hope on top of trying 70-50, trying in that number 2 spot on the men's side. If Hope can maintain that lead tonight, and Albion can hang on to their lead tonight against Olivet, when Hope comes to town, the Britons basically are going to have a 2-game lead in the MIAA conference. And now the men have to take care of business. It's January's one month, though, Jimmy. February is an entirely different ball game and an entirely different season.
And the pressure is on once you get to February.
Hinton and Voskul doing business underneath. Larson almost took it away but couldn't get it. 1 step, 1 bounce, and another 2-point shot for Lauren Newman that goes in. That's 25 for her tonight.
Man, she's lights out tonight.
Newman scores 7 a night, to give you an idea. She's 18 over her season average.
Well, again, only one player averaging in doubles. Just a lot of depth.
Just can't hit a shot tonight as Hinton could not pull down the rebound from Olivia Voskul. Again, it's Newman with the show. In fact, that's Schoonfield.
They can be patient now on offense.
DeSmit takes her time into Thomas, the double team. Back out to Schoonfeld. Jump shot is off the mark. Rain Hinton comes up with a rebound. Britons now have to put this in high speed as they're down 19.
Yep. Need to hit some outside shots because the inside stuff isn't working.
Tried to sneak that one into Rain Hinton, and Voskuhl gets in the way, knocks it out of bounds. It'll stay with the Britons.
19-point margin. Not out of the realm of possibility, but a lot of work to be done here.
Wishmeyer thought she had a shot, then didn't. Dribbles out for three-point land and has it spin in and spin out. So the leading three-point shooter in the league really having a tough night. Welker with the guard. Wishmeyer. Down the lane goes Barnes, kicks it back out front. Jump shot's no good. Welker's there to pull it back in.
Not taking as many gambles on the offensive glass right now.
Britton's in a hurry. Larson looking for some room. Gets the double team, dishes to Hinton. I'll tell you what, it's just been that kind of night for Rain Hinton.
You can see that body language too.
Just can't quite get where she wants to be. Really wasn't in great shape on that baseline and had two defenders around her.
No whistle and no basket. Shoulders slumped going the other way.
Some serious swinging and missing on the baseline. No foul called. Ball went out of bounds, stays with Hope. And I don't think at this point Casey DeSmit still thinks she kind of amazed she didn't hear a whistle on that one, I believe.
Well, here's the thing is the shot was cleanly blocked. She went down after the ball was released on the follow through, and that's just incidental contact.
DeSmit from the corner. Welker closes on her. Kicked out front. Straight on three-point shot again for Kennedy Schoonfeld. And Schoonfeld has a dagger there as it goes back to 18 points now, and the Britons down by a bunch with not a lot of time to play. Ball gets tipped out of bounds, and I believe Amanda Larson actually tapped it before it went out of bounds, so it would go over to the Hope Flying Dutch.
Yeah, I think the decision to double and triple team Rain Hinton tonight, Jim, has been the difference maker. Coach Morehouse made the gamble, forced the other players to beat the Flying Dutch, and right now only Emily Burness has responded. She's kept them in the game, but is it too little too late?
Britons 12 of 38 from the floor tonight, only 31.6%, 8 for 22 from behind the arc at 36%, 2 for 8 from the free throw line tonight. For the Dutch tonight, 20 of 28 from the floor, 10 for 23 from behind the arc, 6 for 17 from the free throw line. 20 turnovers for the Brits, 15 turnovers for the Flying Dutch. Points off of turnovers, 24 points tonight for the Dutch. And points off turnovers, that has been a big differential tonight. 34 rebounds for the Dutch, 24 rebounds for the Brits. So they're having their way on the backboard here tonight as well. Not been a good evening so far for the hometown ladies as they're fighting their way to just stay in this ball game. Lauren Newman with 25 points tonight. When you look at it then, Voskuhl with 10, and then there's a whole bunch of people that have points for the Flying Dutch, but they're all underneath the double digits. 18 for Emily Burness tonight, and the Brits' second leading scorer is Rebecca Ross, who has 5. 22-point cushion now for the Flying Dutch as the ball goes inside. No good. Battled, fought for. Brits come down with it. Welker being pestered as she finds the lane and the backboard. Britons haven't given up yet. They're down 20 right at this point in time with the clock ticking, but still fighting. Uphill battle though.
And just to be clear, that look has not been there most of the night.
No, not at all.
Hope maybe pulling back a little on the defensive side.
First open lane of the night. Amanda Larson knocks this one away and out of bounds. Mallory Gerber says, wow, what happened there?
And Jim, a case where statistics kind of tell a story. The men's game over in Olivet, 57-50 with 6 and change to play. 14 free throws made for the Brits, now only 2 for the Comets. They had no free throws even attempted just a moment ago.
Shot isn't good, but the whistle brings a foul on Rebecca Ross. We'll get a chance to talk to the coach after the ball game. This is going to be interesting. We talked to 2 Cardens here tonight, 2 Coach Cardens this evening.
Yep, that'll be a first. Sure appreciate the baseball Coach Carden coming up and joining us though at halftime.
That was fun. Scott seems like a really nice guy in the program. I mean, I don't know how many coaches. Whoa, that was definitely a back foot drag for about 3 feet. They got away with that one for the easy 2.
Picked up the pivot foot and took 2 steps right there.
Not a good situation there, but it really doesn't matter. 22 points the cushion, and again they telegraphed that pass, and they're lucky they didn't pay for it at the other end as Lauren Newman just couldn't get there in time. 6 minutes to play now as the Britons down by 22 and keep the ball with 19 to shoot. Jess Mormon to check in. Olivia Voskul checks in. Britons on a pretty short rotation tonight, Jim. When you take a look at this, and then again, it's kind of hard to judge when you take a look at the Flying Dutch because they run so many people in there as part of their game plan. They just keep bringing new faces in 2 at a time, 2 at a time, 2 at a time.
And that's all really to suffocate you on the defensive side.
Yeah.
Get as much as they can out of each player in offense, which is why you don't see any one scorer step up and dominate. It's the defensive side is why they sub so much.
Shot gets partially blocked. They say the shot clock went off before the rebound, and the ball will go back over to the ladies from Holland.
58-36, 5 minutes, 35 seconds to play in the contest. Hope looking strong.
Yeah, they really are. Now you know exactly why these folks are rated number 3 in the country. They came in tonight with a mission. I think we got a 3-second call, no doubt. Voskul's been down there quite a bit tonight. First time they've called her for it, but she's had a couple times where she camped out in that paint and didn't move. And I'll tell you what, you want to talk about a coach? Brian Morehouse over here just absolutely, totally frustrated by that 3-second call, even though his team's up 22. That's some intensity. That's why they're as good as what they are. Voskul with the block on Hinton, and Rain has just really had a rough night.
Yep, Voskul played her straight up one-on-one right there, no help. Shifted to her right, just stuck the hands up.
Britt's having a tough evening here at home.
Good
nice
steal.
job taking that away, Rebecca Ross.
But 3 defenders back, no transition opportunity.
They just do everything right, Jim. They just do everything right. It's frustrating to say, I know, but that's the way that it goes. Ball will be knocked out of bounds as Burness made the run. And I'll tell you what, Emily Burness has been the only young lady out there for the Britons tonight, as they are now been outscored 7-2 in the fourth quarter. They had things going relatively well in quarter number 3, but still, Hope's won each and every segment of the ball game tonight. Hinton goes up over 2 and still can't get the ball go in, and it has just been that kind of night for Rain.
And reset the shot clock to 20. 4:19 to play. Brits keep the ball, but a lot of work to do.
Rain is 1 for 6 from the floor tonight, Jim. Just the fact that she's only taken 6 shots is a bit of amazement. Nice job by Elena Welker to knock that one home. 20-point contest now.
Double-digit lead on the men's side. They leave Olivet 66-55 with 4 minutes and 39 seconds to play.
Men need to take care of business as the bucket goes in for the Flying Dutch. And that was Voskul that made that one, and she has 8 now in the evening. Britain's about ready to start bringing some people off the bench, I believe. Madeline Stanley about ready to check in, along with Casey DeSmit. Welker no place to go to Amanda Larson. Larson for a long 3, catches the front of the iron and comes out.
You just kind of have to start taking the shots. You don't have the luxury of being able to be patient now on offense.
Jess Mormon with that rebound. And you wonder now if Hope will kind of slow things down with 3:18 to play, or whether they'll just keep going. Oh, they had a wide open player on the right block in Jess Mormon, and they missed her. Swing it back the right side, no good. A little contact.
Got to be a foul.
As Ashley Thomas was run over, basically.
I'm all for letting them play, but when Rebecca Ross goes for the steal and then just throws a shoulder into a Hope player, you have to call that one.
King and Burgess check in along with Madeline Stanley for the Lady Britons. And J.C. King, with 3 minutes to play right now, I would think that you've seen the last of a couple of the starters for the Britons tonight. I have to ask the coach a little bit about Evelyn Wishmeyer, how she's doing in the post-game show. We'll have Coach up here after the ball game. One more women's game for us here on the Britain Sports Network, and that's Trine on a Wednesday night in February.
We'll do a good one too.
Do the men next Wednesday night here with Hope. The following Wednesday night, the ladies will entertain Trine, and then we'll wrap up the regular season with the men versus Trine on that final Wednesday night of the regular season. And hopefully that night we're going to be talking about maybe the men looking for some postseason home cooking, which would be nice. A little early to talk about that right now, though, as we wrap up this last basketball game of the month of January. Hard to imagine that too, Jim.
Yeah.
Next time these guys put the ball in play here at the Kresge, it will be February 1st. Ball goes in the low block. How about 3 seconds? Okay, we'll take the travel. Courtney Bowden spent an awful lot of time on that MIA logo before she shuffled those feet.
4 subs out. Only Voskel remains on the floor for Hope.
Tolbert comes in. Claire Bagley comes in. 24 is Kayla Russell. And then also Meg Morehouse as the Flying Dutch take the ball away again. Well, it wasn't what I expected tonight, Jim. If you'd told me that Hope was going to run us out of the gym by 20 plus tonight, I'd have kind of chuckled at you. I thought this game was going to be a little bit closer, but boy, I'll tell you what, a well-oiled machine as Morehouse lets the three fly, no good. Tiffany Burgess pulls down the rebound.
They just wear you out on defense.
Boy, they really do, don't they, huh?
They just wear you out on defense. They blanket you.
Nicole Sweetland comes back into the ball game here at the next dead ball. Ross drives and kicks. Welker runs into double team. 3-point shot a little bit too strong, and the Dutch pull down the rebound again.
Timeout. More subs.
Mallory Gerber for the Flying Dutch, and Nicole Sweetland.
No, he's going to change it to a full.
Yep, there you go. Let's see if we can check around the ladies' side of the conference here tonight and see how the games are going on that side.
I'll get you a men's score while you're doing that. Still stuck at 66-55. Still 40-39 to play, so that has not been updated for a while.
On the other side, St. Mary's beats Adrian tonight 66-61. Alma rolls over Olivet 76-39. Trine's up on Calvin at the end of 3, 56-33. It says the end of 4, but it doesn't say a final, so maybe it is a final right now. In the fourth late, Hope here on top of Albion 60-38. So I got to believe Trine beat Calvin tonight 56-33. They just have not made it final on the scoreboard. Again, when you look at that side, Trine's got to keep pace with this Hope team. As Hope comes into the game tonight at 9-0, they'll go 10-0 tonight. Trine will make it 9-1. But unfortunately for Trine, if you're a Trine fan, they've already lost to Hope this year. So it kind of starts to put a little clarity on this ladies' side, unless this team that we're watching tonight somehow stumbles. And boy, I'll tell you what, I don't see much of that, Jim. This is a well-oiled machine that came in from Holland tonight.
2 players going down near the pep band.
Under a minute to play here. Running out of room and stepping out of bounds goes Kate Majerus.
33 seconds. I think it's safe to call this one a final.
I think it's safe to call this one a final. There's no doubt about that. Coming up this weekend in basketball for the Lady Brits, they'll be home to Adrian here on Saturday, and they're going to celebrate 50 years of women's basketball here at Albion College.
Awesome.
What a great afternoon that's going to be. Then they'll be at Olivet and Kalamazoo next Wednesday and the following Saturday. So the Lady Brits about to spend a couple of weeks, couple of games on the road. Long jump shot will be no good with 11 seconds to play. The ball will go over to Hope, and I would think we're going to dribble this one out. For the Flying Dutch, their next three is at home to Kalamazoo. Then they'll be on the road at Adrian. They'll be home with St. Mary's. And tonight, I guess you'd call this one a cakewalk, 60-38. As the ladies from Holland did everything right this evening, Jim. And they'll take the victory tonight against a Britain's team that's just kind of wondering what hit them, I think, tonight.
That's an assessment kind of game, Jim.
No doubt.
You have a 2-point margin of victory on their home floor, and you wonder what happened. Well, suffocating defense happened. Problem is the Britons weren't able to respond to that suffocating defense tonight. Hope did a good job playing a steady game.
Yeah, no doubt.
They never went long stretches without scoring. First quarter, they was stuck 9-5 for a while, but the defense also held the Brits at 5 points for a long time. And from that point on, every time the Brits would knock down a big shot, like a three-pointer, Burness, for example, knocking down a three, they would come right back down and answer. So any little chance the Brits had to put a run together would always get extinguished, and the best teams just do that.
Yeah, they have no doubt about that.
They just do that.
Well, you know, as we said, the Britons on the year were shooting 45% from the floor. Tonight, 29.8%. They didn't even get to 30% tonight. The Brits were shooting 36% from deep, 31% on the evening tonight. Free throws, I don't know what was going on with the free throws tonight. Neither team really doing all that well. But the Britons just having a rough night. 23 turnovers tonight. For Hope tonight, they were 22 of 55, 40% from the floor, 10 of 26 from deep, 6 of 17 from the free throw line, 20 turnovers, 24 points off of turnovers. The Brits only 7 points off of turnovers. Here tonight, 28 total rebounds for the Britons, 42 total rebounds there tonight for the ladies from Holland. As we say goodbye to the best cameraman that we've ever had.
Camera operator.
Yeah, camera operator. I shouldn't say that, should I? Jade's going to kick me the next time she sees me rather than shaking my hand. She's going to say, Jim, time out, man. You're an old guy, but you got to think a little better than that one. How's that?
75-63, the men lead at Olivet with 1:15 to play in the contest, so that one is almost in the books.
Ladies from Holland tonight, second chance points outscored the Britons 16-5. Points in the paint, 22-12. Fast break points, neither team really were able to break out. You know, we talked a little bit about the Brits trying to speed things up in the second half. Only had 2 fast break points in the entire night. Hope only had 6, though, tonight. So neither one of those teams doing very well there. But I'll tell you what, everything that Hope did past that was pretty spectacular tonight. But again, a normal Hope night. Lauren Newman, 25 points. Olivia Voskul, 12 points. Casey DeSmit, 7 points. Ashley Thomas, 6 points. Kennedy Schoenfeld, 5 points. Jess Mormon, 3 points. Courtney Barnes, 2 points. You add them all up together, and that totals up to a 60-point total. For the Brits on the other side, it was a very rough night for everybody that wasn't named Emily Burness tonight. Burness with 18, Welker with 7, Ross with 5, Larson with 4, Hinton with only 4 tonight, and goose eggs all the rest of the way down the scoreboard here this evening. It just was not a good night. Emily Burness, 6 for 13 overall, 6 for 10 from behind the arc tonight. And if it wasn't for Emily, this would have even been a bigger blowout than what it ended up being.
Yeah, Rain Hinton and also Evelyn Wishmeyer. That injury to Evelyn, I think it was in the first quarter.
Yeah, here early on.
Certainly don't want to speculate what it was. Looked like it might have been like an upper thigh kind of situation, like maybe a knee to the thigh player just going for a loose ball. And you had a lot of bumps and bruises. Both of these teams are going to go home. They're going to be they're going to be sore tonight. I mean, this is about as physical a basketball game as I can remember seeing. Both of these teams, you can tell how much this game meant, and they certainly left it all on the floor, and they played a very physical brand of basketball. And, this is something that for the rest of the MIAA, if you don't know about Hope, which everybody's seen them once now at this point, but be prepared to play some pretty physical basketball. They'll run you through screens. They'll double team you on defense. They go after all the loose balls. They do all the right things, but they play a very physical brand of basketball, and that's hard for a lot of teams to reckon with. You think it's basketball has kind of become more of a finesse game over the years, but they play an old school, very physical brand of basketball, and it's hard for a lot of teams to handle.
Yeah, no doubt.
And because they're so deep, they can just keep bringing players in to put a body on you, box you out on the rebounds, be physical with you when you're bringing the ball up. They just do a tremendous job on both sides of the floor, and they're so deep that they can continue to play with that same intensity the entire time.
Let me make one correction that I was wrong with here late in the ball game. Trine and Hope do play one more time. Hope has a one-game lead over Trine. They play the very last Saturday of the year, February 22nd. Trine goes to Hope. They got to play at the DeVos Center that day. It could very easily come down, I guess, to that game potentially. And I'll tell you what, if you got to beat this team on their floor on the last Saturday afternoon of the season, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
That's all I'm going to say. That is going to be a battle if it does come down to that ball game. But tonight, basically Hope just was way too much. As we take a look at this women's standing, Hope at 9-0, Trine at 8-1. Both of them win this evening. Albion now will fall to 7-3 in the conference. Calvin wins tonight. They'll go to 6-4 here on the season. As we take a look at all of the scores one more time, the Britons basically just had a rough night tonight, and not much you can say about it. It's just a very good basketball team. We played them extremely hard at Hope. Tonight we just weren't quite as fortunate to be able to play as well. And Hope, man, I'll tell you what, they're a good bunch and a good basketball team. And there's just not much you can say other than a very good team. Congratulations to the ladies tonight from Holland as they put another W on their columns here this year, and it does look like they are heading towards another MIAA championship unless somebody somehow turns on the afterburners this year, because we've seen quite a few of the teams right now. I've only watched the Trine team. We'll see them in person here in another 2 weeks. But I'll tell you what, I'm not imagining that team is any tougher than the one that we saw here tonight. What a ball game, and what a great win tonight. 601 now for Coach Morehouse.
And counting.
Yeah, and counting. And again, as you pointed out, he got his 600th against Olivet on this past Saturday. And he's only coached now, 691 games? So he's like 601 and 90, I believe.
Yeah, hasn't even lost 100 games yet as a head coach.
Yeah. Just to give you an idea, because Doreen, with a pretty good career of her own going right now, came into tonight at 304 and 188 on her career. So half as many wins and twice as many losses so far.
And that's a really good career so far, too.
A very good career so far. There's no doubt about that.
When you start using phrases like fastest coach to ever reach 600 wins, and then you say in men's or women's NCAA basketball history.
On any level.
On any level.
Yeah. Yeah. We're bringing John Wooden into the mix on this thing. Those are the kind of names that are in that
John
category
Wooden,
right now.
You're bringing Pat Summitt. You're bringing Gino Auriemma.
Yep.
You're bringing the best of the best, my friend. And Coach Brian Morehouse has amassed 600 wins faster than any of those legendary coaches.
Interesting night, tough night of basketball here. We're waiting on Coach Carden to come up and join us here for a couple of quick comments.
Jim, we have a final over in Olivet. The Britons men's team defeats the Comets 78-69. So
there you go.
Congratulations to Coach May and the team. James L. leads the men with 27 points, 17 for Cortez Garland. He got a lot of those in the second half. Caden Ebling at 13, Justin Maccabee with 7, Josh Palo with 5, Jawan Perry with 5, and then MJ Barnes and Devin Holmes with 2 points apiece in victory. So big night for James L., 27 points. The game's leading scorer for the Comets, Eddie Thigpen, hit 8 of 15 from the floor for 22 points, 11 points apiece for Britton Angel and Noah Wisworry. So Britton's men's team wins on the road, and they stay atop the MIAA, undefeated still in men's play.
How difficult is it to win in the MIAA, Jimmy? Olivet came in tonight at 1-5 in the conference, 4-3 overall, and that was a basketball game all night long between the Comets and the Brittons.
Yeah.
Britton sitting on top still now, 7-0 in the conference, 16-2 on the year. And did Trine go down tonight? Let's check on that one real quick, because they were getting thumped there by Hope.
It was like 70-50 when you showed me that earlier, was it not?
It was. So let's see if we can't see what happened on that one here tonight yet. As we go back up and go backwards, these newfangled contraptions, men's basketball finals. Let's get rid of that thing. The ad pops up. We'll head on over to the men's side of the ledger here for this evening. As we said, the men won tonight at Olivet. Other games tonight on that side. Trine, well, we'll need to update because they've not updated. It was 70-50 with halfway through that second half. It ends up being 86-67. Hope beating Trine tonight at Hope. So they were up.
It's a mild upset.
40-30 there at the end of the half, and then outscored Trine 46-37.
Yeah, Hope was 3-3 in conference play coming in tonight. Trine was 5-1, so the Britons just opened up a 2-game lead atop the men's standings. That's doubly huge.
Let's take a look at maybe a couple of the other scores out there. Calvin and Adrian. Adrian was actually putting it to Calvin tonight. They end up winning that ball game tonight at Adrian, 76-59 over Calvin tonight. And one other game here on the men's side of the ledger tonight, Alma and Kalamazoo. Alma was up the last time we saw by 16. And Kalamazoo ends up losing to Alma tonight, 86-78. So Alma comes back and wins that ball game. They scored 44 in the first half, up by 12 at halftime, end up winning 86-78. Coach Carden in the locker room here tonight with her players. I'm not sure whether we're going to get her or not. We're going to stall for a little bit more. But again, probably a tough night for the coach and her team. Trying to get a few things figured out and worked out. You know, this was probably a game, I would think, Jim, where they came in tonight fired up. They looked good. They looked like they were ready to play. They looked like everything was going to be a night where maybe this was upset night at the Kresge. And then they threw the ball up in the air, and from that point in time, Hope just came out and played like the well-oiled machine that they are.
Well, just a different definition of upset.
Yeah. Yep. Men's side of the ledger, it is Albion on top of that conference right now, 7-0, trying at 5-2.
That's
Calvin
huge because,
at
Jim,
5-2 as well.
We just saw on Saturday the men went to Angola and won at Trine. So
yes.
We have that rematch coming up here at the Kresge. And with a 2-game lead and one already in the bank, they're in a good position. But again, it's
well,
February is a whole different animal compared to January, and now those other teams are looking to get a shot at getting in the postseason tournament in a play-in game, and they're going to go through the Britons, and they would love nothing more, some of those other squads in the MIAA, than to knock them off on a road game coming up, and also Trine coming back looking to try to pay the Britons a receipt. They had a strong first half, and then the Britons pulled away in the second half like they've kind of been like it's kind of been their MO so far this season. But again, 1 in the bank and 2 up, not a bad position to be in for Coach May. No, not a bad position at all. But again, as you said, Jim, you got Hope coming up. We'll be here Wednesday night with that ball game. And then Trine coming up 2 Wednesdays from that point on. And it should be a good situation. It's all going to work out. I think we're going to pass on the idea of talking to Coach Carden tonight. She's still in the locker room with her team. So we'll call it a night for us here tonight. Thank you to all the folks here at Albion for helping us put this ball game on tonight. Jade Barrett, our camera operator this evening. Matt Aaron, the AD here at the college. It's always good to see Matt. Shout out to our buddy Bobby Lee, who hopefully was out there watching this evening as well.
Miss you, buddy. Wait to see you come back. Kenny Reeker was our guy that produced and engineered this whole thing this evening. For Jim Bellamy, I'm Jim Funderburg. The Brits go down tonight, but we'll be back Wednesday night here on the Britain Sports Network.